To the GRG podcast, the place for all your gaming news, plus hot topics of the week. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter at KMega4.
Came up out the womb of man with everything that you demand. You could say I had a plan way before I had a fan. Some would probably call it luck, I just call it being blessed. You ain't never did the work, but you wanna be the best. Lately I could never stress, never better yet. Might have had a thing for you, she know I'm the better bet. I digress, I let it rest, go and get another check. I could always see my future, I bet they could never guess. Guessing they get it, cause look at me now and then look at yourself in the mirror. I know they doubted my thesis, but they doubted Jesus, and right now I'm making it clear. Clearly these people don't know where they going, and lately I feel like the man with the map. I got this shit out the mud, you could give me the word and I'll probably give it right back. Back at the bus I was scraping the change, back in my head I was living a life. Back at my job I was losing the focus and trying to find ways to get back to the mic. All of this working ain't working, I feel like a liar and I cannot lie to my soul. I know the truth universal, so don't let me tell you, I know that a lot of you know. Spilling pieces of a poet, don't you know it, I'm the real thing, baby. And if it don't make $1, then how could it make a real change, baby? Spilling pieces of a poet, don't you know it, I'm the real thing, baby. And if it don't make $1, then how could it make a real change, baby? Ay. Came up out the womb a giant, you a lick and you a client. Now you got so much to say, I was hurting, you was quiet. Glory is as glory does, so you know the story, love. Never thought he'd be a legend, he was always sure he was. You was always naysaying, some things never change. Spiritually I never aged, feeling like 11th grade. Junior me, proud of me, standing tall, towering. Doing things I never do, if I was living cowardly.
There's nothing.
Well, here it goes. Here goes nothing. You're absolutely right, Mitchie. Hey, what's up? What's happening? The GRG podcast is alive, and we are in full effect as usual. Thank you for coming and checking us out already at this Friday night, this Doctor Strange Friday night. So I'm expecting a lot of people out there to be out there in the movie theater, and checking out Doctor Strange. I will be checking it out with the wife Monday. So I have to stay away from the internet all weekend. So if you don't see me tweeting that much, that is why. Because I am not going to be running around looking and just reading other stuff that's in there and minding my business. And then somebody just throws spoilers out there because I don't know. It's just what people do. But I don't know. Without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get to the panel. A couple of people will not be here tonight. Sir X-Man, he's doing it old school. He is on the phone talking with Microsoft, and he sounded hot, old man hot. So he will be here a little bit later. D, she won't be here tonight because of the fact that it's Mother's Day weekend. That's a sentimental situation for her, so totally understand. But I also have some news too regarding Robs, and Robs will no longer be on the podcast as a full-time member because of work. She hit me up about it last night, so hopefully she'll come and can maybe visit or whatever. But she wanted to. She let me know, and so unfortunately, that's a sad deal. But we'll definitely miss her. But hey, life is life, and you gotta take care of business. Totally understand that. So, so shout out to Rob's, a geek, and hopefully we'll get to see her sometime in the future. But other than that, wish her well and hope she get all her situations taken care of, because real life is way more important. So, but I did not go empty-handed tonight because, as usual, have to try and have a lady on the show. And This lady right here, she's a friend of the show. She's been on numerous times. She hasn't been on in a while because, you know, she's been busy herself. And of course, on that, she's probably been very, very sad because of the Los Angeles Rams winning the Super Bowl and the MI Rams beating the disgusting, gross 49ers. But yet, her rival, the 49ers, which I have to give, which I was rooting for the whole time, dispatched the only team that I was afraid of in these playoffs, and that was the Green Bay Packers. So, Mitchie, guys a lot. How you doing? What's going on? How you feel about them Rams winning that Super Bowl? How you feel about my boy Stafford going ahead and taking us to the promised land?
Well, better him than anybody else, I suppose.
Okay, all right.
That's all you're getting out of that.
So how you doing? How you been?
I've been good. Not much gaming, more working than gaming, but I did try Trek to Yomi. I tried that, and what else have I been playing? And I bought the first Red Dead, so I've been playing that because I didn't have that before. So, and it was on sale during that big sale they had. They seem to always have a big sale. And yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
I know it's funny that I just bought the first Red Dead, right? Xbox 360.
Hey, no, it's all right. I just seen somebody post that they bought Titanfall 2 because they heard that it was a good game. And my first expression was like, what rock have you been under? But of course, you know, just it happens with everything. Because I know that there's games out there that I haven't played, and I may have looked at it at a glance, and then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, damn, that's right. That's that game. And then I'll go get it later on. So it's just the nature of the beast.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I played the second Red Dead, and I'm like, it was so good. And then I'm like, I should really play the first one.
Yes. Because, I mean, actually, you're doing it the right way because that is a true sequel to the first game. So, I mean, to Red Dead 2. So, you know, so you actually will get a full, complete, you got a full, complete story about the youngin, and now you'll get to see him as a grown man and what he's gone through and all, and then you'll get to see a lot of the old characters come back. So it's actually
Okay.
pretty good thing. So yeah, so let me know what you think about it. Really good game. It was a really good game. So absolutely. All right. So we moving on here to our other guest, a person that's no stranger to the GRG podcast. Been on here numerous times. Friend of the podcast, man. He hasn't been on here in a while, but you know, I heard he's out there playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I heard that he's wearing his Yu-Gi-Oh! Wig right now. And I think he has a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I think he has let me think. What's some of his cards? I have not seen his cards in so long. Oh my gosh. What was my favorite card? The Egyptian God card. What was that? Zodiac? What was that card called?
Exodia?
Exodia. That's it. I like that card. When you combine all those cards and then bring that big bastard in. So anyway, so what's up, Callie?
Nothing much, man. Just been playing games. Just been enjoying life. Not gonna lie. And yeah. But yeah. And now I'm not wearing that Yu-Gi-Oh head or how you say hair, whatever you
Wig.
mentioned earlier.
Wig.
Yeah.
Wig. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into Yu-Gi-Oh, but not that much.
It is a good game. Now, I don't know. I do have the latest one, but the problem is I don't know if it plays because I tried to play it, but it didn't seem to play like the original PlayStation 1 version. And that game was just so, I know life, that game, the first two, so heavy. And so I wish that they would go back to that, but I guess the way that they got it now, it's cool. I don't know. I'm nostalgic like that. Like the way that game played, the way it felt, it was really really cool. So I don't know if you played the first two Yu-Gi-Oh games, but is there any similarities to that in this latest Yu-Gi-Oh game?
Kinda. I mean,
Kinda. Okay,
unless you prefer playing like the original, but like the game has changed so much since then. It like the actual card game, it no longer plays like that anymore.
See, yeah, I'm gonna have to be on my nostalgia. I'm just gonna have to play on my emulators and play the old stuff. put some real time in. So anyway. All right, man, let's get on to it. Ham Solo, what's up with you, brother? How you been? How was your trip out there going to see your buddy?
Oh man, so the trip was pretty dope. I was hanging out with Mad Drex up in Minneapolis, and or not Minneapolis, Milwaukee, excuse me, Milwaukee, and we went to the Midwest Gaming Classic. It just has a bunch of like retro games. They had some people talking there. They had some of the like OG like Mortal Kombat guys there, which was pretty cool. Let's see. I picked up Bionic Commando. Bionic Commando for the lady. I picked myself up not a Panasonic, but a Gold Star 3DO was there as well, which is super old.
How much did you pay for that?
Well, $180.
That thing was still worth $180.
Yes, sir.
Jesus. Ooh, okay.
Shoot, the Panasonic one, I've seen those for like $400.
Damn.
So I seen that for 180, and I was like, I'm taking that shit right now. Got a couple games for it. What was it? Demolition Man, I got that. And I also got the Road Rash game for it as well.
Okay. The Road Rash. Now, Road Rash was great. I do love Road Rash. So go ahead.
But go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. Okay, so like when I first seen the 3DO at Best Buy all those years ago, and I remember when I asked my mom, "Hey, you know what? I would like to, what about that as a Christmas gift?" And she was like, "Fool, that thing is as much as the house payment." No. So you better get your ass a job. That's what she told
Those things were like $400 or $600 back when
they were like $600. Yeah, like it was $600. So does the graphics still hold up after all those years? Because at that time, that was like the most high-tech, best looking machine I've ever seen graphically on console at that time. What's the games look like now?
What system you talking about?
He said no. He said I'm asking the man who just bought a 3DO.
Panasonic 3DO.
Yeah.
Or not Panasonic,
I got
but
a 3DO.
Gold Star.
I got a Gold Star.
Yeah, I got a Gold Star one too with that. I wish it was the Panasonic one because that one's a top loader, and the Gold Star one is has a motor that ejects the disc.
Yeah, I got about 100 discs for that Gold Star. I got so many games for it; it's just ridiculous.
Hey, tell me, because I'm actually thinking about purchasing Gex.
I don't know if I have that one. I got to look through my collection.
That's one game I really want.
I've got the original Dragon's Lair and a whole bunch of other things for it. I need to check.
Solo, you sir have taste. Not a lot of people.
I'd like to think so. Not everybody would agree with you, but I'd like to think so.
I mean, it was at its time. I mean, it was the creme de la creme of all consoles. So it just the price.
I'm going to look good because I'm picking up a CRT television from somebody.
Oh, nice.
So
that's what I'm playing it on right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I mean, it works pretty good. I like it. I'm into my retro stuff, and I like playing. As for stuff I've been playing, played a little bit of this like Mega Drive kind of.
Mega Drive.
Well, it's like a Mega Drive thing for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I got it.
And it has a bunch of games on it. Like there's like 21 games per page, and it has 81 pages of games on it.
Games you got to unlock by playing the other games, if I remember correctly.
I don't know that. I just got it, so I'm still trying to figure that all out. So I've been playing some games on there. You were talking about people that missed out on games. I missed out on Mass Effect, so I'm playing that. I'm at the end at I think it's called Ilos or something like that.
Yeah, you're getting.
So I'm like, Yeah, so I'm like
Is that the first
chasing
one, the second one, or third one? Which one? I can't remember.
the first one. It's
Okay,
the first one. I'm trying to beat Saren to the conduit right
Oh,
now.
okay. To the concept,
And let's see, I just beat Kana, Bridge of Spirits, and I'm playing Devil May Cry 3 because I just beat Devil May Cry 2.
Yeah, I saw you post that when you beat Devil May Cry 2. Yes,
Ain't that the one where they changed them?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Devil
that
May Cry
was.
3, they changed him
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. 3 is when they changed them. 2 they didn't, but 3 they changed them, and then
Hi, Michi.
I beat those 3. Okay, Sir X
Hi,
Man,
Sir X-Man.
Sir X Man. Can I do my intros, please?
I didn't think you was doing an intro.
Yeah, I mean, if you came in on time, or if you just sit back and just wait, then
Bro, I
I
was
got
fighting
you.
with Microsoft, man. I'm sorry.
I got you. I know. I was letting people know. But anyway, let me. I was going to ask one more question, but I completely forgot. So anyway, all right, Sir X Man, how you doing?
Oh, I got an Xbox Series X today, and now I'm struggling. So
Okay,
let's see
sorry
if I
about
can.
that. About the OBS, the OBS situation. It just went off. I don't know what that was about, but hold on, let me.
See it spinning.
Yeah, but it said it went off for a hot second. So if there's
It's
a
back
blip or
again.
something, okay, all right. So sorry about that. Okay.
But yeah, I can't wait to play some games on it, dude. Now I can play John Madden with my friends because John Madden isn't cross gen.
Yeah. Well, you can play some fighters too. Finally, so
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I don't know if he'll win, but he can play.
Talk that shit, Mitchie. Talk it.
What'd you say, girl?
Love it.
What'd you
Love it.
say?
Love it.
Repeat
Love
that.
it. All
You was so
right.
low, I didn't hear you.
She said she wasn't low. You just didn't want to hear what she had to say. That's all.
Actually, I honestly didn't. Seriously.
She said you won't win, but it'll good that you.
Oh, there you go back to that again. You just ain't ever gonna let it go. And you get 1 out of 9, and you like the goddess.
That's all I needed was 1.
That's all. Yeah, for a person who don't play the fighters,
I'm not mad at her, dude. Just don't bring that
She kept
two-headed
getting better
dude
and
out
better
again.
and better and better.
Now she brought that two-headed guy out. That's what happened.
She still busted that ass though. But anyway,
Yeah, she got me. I'm gonna give her that credit.
Let's get on to it. First topic, and first off, let me ask how many people on the panel. One Bad Mother, what's going on, brother?
Hey, look at that! I was practicing my stealth mode there. I came in the back door like Sam Fisher.
I see that. What's up, man?
Did you grab a beer?
I'm good, man. First of all, before I get going, how's my volume this time?
You're perfect, bro. You're perfect.
Sound great.
You sound all great. Right. Yeah, last time I was having some technical difficulties, but
you did.
Yeah, man. I just got back from Cali. I was over there for a week because my sister was getting married, and I had to do the getting ordained over the internet thing, and got her married off.
Nice,
so
nice.
did that. Went to Hollywood. Kind of had some fun over there. But yeah, man, it was fun. But I'm on fumes. We just got done with my Halo podcast, but I saw Halo on the menu, so like, why not? Why we always got more room on Halo, right?
Had to.
Why not? Because when it comes down to it, maybe him solo, but everybody else, they're not going to sit here and touch the Halo topic. So, yeah.
I'm waiting to see how it look in 4K now on this big 70-inch 4K TV. This is going to be hot.
Oh yeah, you're going to see. Hey man, your life is going to completely change when you finish downloading and look at all those games.
I'm still playing on PC though. Don't get me wrong.
You won't for a while.
It's a new toy, K. Megan. I gotta play with it.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like your PC gonna be put on ice for a little while.
No, it ain't. Forza Motorsports is coming out, and that's why we playing on PC. Sorry, can't get away from that.
Oh, you okay?
I got wheels, pedals, shifter. I'm playing on PC.
Okay, we'll see.
And 3 screens. I'm
We'll
gonna be immersed.
We'll see.
And my racing seat.
We'll see. We'll see. I doubt it very seriously. But
dude,
we'll see.
Hold it. Here's the thing. My wheel and pedals and stuff, it can work on the Xbox. So, but I'm saying
most likely you'll probably play. Well,
I'm not moving all this equipment.
Okay, then. All right, then. Like I said, I know, man. I when I upgraded my PC and everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll probably. No, I'll be playing a lot more PC than normal.
But if you had the wheels and the
Series
pedals
X,
and stuff like that, Mega for
no,
your PC,
So
you
you
do
need
all
all
that.
that paraphernalia just to win?
Oh, talk that shit! I love it. Anyway, enough of the wheels and the
I
three
like
screens.
my toys. Don't
Let's
mess
get
with
on.
me.
Let's get to the topic.
That's what she said.
All right. Okay. Woo.
I love this woman so much. She awesome. Go ahead. Let's go.
Oh my goodness, I was not expecting that from Mitchie, but okay, all right. Let's talk
You
about.
haven't heard her.
No, I have, but I wasn't expecting to hit us over the head with that quickly.
Only
Usually
to
that's
me
not
she
enough.
does that.
So
It's
no.
a Green Bay Bears thing. That's why.
Oh my goodness.
There ain't nothing there in Chicago.
There ain't nothing there in Green Bay. Y'all got knocked out and let the Rams roll through.
Hey, at least we made it there.
Oh my
When was
God.
last time you did?
Oh my.
I don't want to talk about that one. That's a
as a Lions fan, I got nothing to say right now.
Yeah, hey man, your team is gonna be good. Anyway, I gotta keep it
Someday.
moving. I gotta keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. All right. So talk about sports. Let's go. Okay, thoughts about Trek to Yomi. So who on the panel who's played that?
I have.
Okay. Anybody else? Oh wow.
Not yet.
Oh wow.
See,
Okay.
I was the only one that did my homework.
Wow. Excellent. All right. You know what I'm saying? So Mitchie.
To be fair, I only been
I know
back
you're on a
in town.
plane.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I
you
was
just
on a
got back in
plane.
town.
I had a good excuse.
Okay.
You
I'm
could have played on
surprised.
XCloud.
See? I love it. I
Oh.
love it. Mitchie's
Call
on
me
it
out.
tonight.
All right.
Yes.
You know, and I
you.
had that. I
Tell
had that
people.
with me too. But yeah.
I've been telling people
You got
xCloud is the life when you ain't in front of your console.
Wow. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Dragonheart Yomi said fake ass PC Master Race, X main. And Sleepy said PC.
At least I'm able to join the show. Okay, shut up.
Oh my goodness. Oh shit.
He
Wait
threw
a minute.
he threw the hate. I threw it right back at him.
Wow. What's going on here today? I don't even know. Yeah. Man. Oh goodness. All right. So
Our X-Men's past bedtime. That's
it
probably
is
what it
past his bedtime. He's cranky. I don't know, but what's happening here? So Mitchie, okay, for what you played so far, what did you think about it? I mean, give us just an outlook of what you thought about it, like just graphically, just the. Do you think that this would be a game that you would play all the way through at some point, or is it really difficult, or what?
Okay,
What
I
are
have
some of the
gaming
good and the bad?
ADHD. I know that's right.
Yes. I think mostly everybody on this panel is like that, but I got
But I like the black and white aspect. I thought that was really cool
you.
because you don't see that in a lot of games. You don't see the whole black and white thing.
Mhm.
And I need to make the writing bigger because I'm going blind. But otherwise, I like the mechanics. At first, I wasn't like sure because I'm like, okay, you're gonna put everything in Japanese. This is what you're gonna do. That doesn't help. And then but I got through the prologue and I liked it, and I'll probably continue it until I get stuck, and then I will surrender in frustration. And that's just how it is, and I'll come back to it later after I'm done being frustrated with it. That's just how it works. And but yeah, I did like it. I wasn't I didn't really expect to, but I liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right. So, has anybody else been interested in the game at least? I mean, so
I am.
Okay.
I
all right.
downloaded it on all my systems, so I'm ready for it. Just
Okay.
got to get the time in.
Just get
I
I'll
don't
keep
work
an eye on it
tomorrow.
because I love
If-
samurai games.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I don't go
Coming
in
off of Ghost
tomorrow,
of Tsushima.
I'm gonna fire that game up. and give
Right.
it a-
Now that's the one thing I seen somebody that was on the internet and they were like, "Oh man, I trying to make a comparison. It's really not a comparison, except only is that it's a because one is a Japanese spaghetti western, then black and
Yeah.
white, and the other one is and that's an indie game, and this one is a full-fledged, and the other one is a full-fledged AAA title.
There's just
so-
not a lot of samurai games out there,
right.
really.
They're not.
until
That's why,
Twitch
that's why there's
comes
a
back.
comparison, because like Ghost of Tsushima is the only like recent samurai game.
It is.
And
It
plus
is.
they have a black and white mode too.
Right, they do. That is right. They have the black one, but I mean, the black and white thing for me, I wasn't skeptical, but I was just kind of like, okay, all right, well, but then I took the film grain off because I don't need that type of nostalgia. But when I took the film grain off, you could tell that the game is a really detailed, pretty game. It's really well made, and so you just can look and see the details when a lot of things with the when like the grass is blowing, or like you see clouds or debris or things that breaks up or whatever, and also like when you're just fighting enemies, which if anything that I would complain about is the fact of the parry, which the parry is it works, but it's not 100%, or at least I'm just not skilled at being that accurate all the time. And that's okay, because I mean I've gotten further. I'm like on chapter 6 right now. I'm at end of chapter 5, about to be at chapter 6, or I'm right at the start of chapter 6. I can't remember at the fight, because there was a boss that I had to fight there, because I fought like two major bosses. And that's another thing about the game that I like a lot, because it does surprise you with some big bosses, variants of different enemies. I do like that you get more weapons within the game. You got your sword, but you also have throwing projectiles. You get a bow and arrow. You get a gun or a
Cool.
shotgun. Yeah, shotgun, a musket, I guess you would say. And in some cases you're going to need it. So especially you'll get in the later stages, you'll get surrounded, but the game is not overly complex to where it's like, okay, I'm going to put this game down, I'm done with it, like maybe a Cuphead or something like that. It has a Souls ish type of vibe, but very, like, I would say Souls light, not Souls like, but Souls light, because you do have to strategize on the enemy's attacks, and the parry is very important. Because if you block too much, then you lose stamina. So you have to, but the parry, it kind of compensates for you losing your stamina, and then you could do some really cool moves, devastating attacks, and then you could do finishers on them. Now, I'm still kind of, as much as I've been playing, I'm still, like I said, little with the controls, still trying to fill it out. I'm trying to do what my finishers at a continuous basis. But other than that, I think the game is great. I mean, especially, it's only $20 if you want to purchase it on PlayStation or PC, Xbox. I think it is, and it's on. I think it's on Switch as well. I cannot remember that, but
And don't
um,
forget the Game Pass. It's,
well, yeah, that's what I
I,
was gonna say. If you don't want to pay for
yeah.
it, it's on Game Pass, and I haven't paid for it, but
Hey,
I'm about
that's
to.
pretty good.
Whoa, what
That's a
the?
good price.
Yeah, damn, wow. No. Yeah, um,
Uh,
yeah, no, the Game Pass factor is there. I seen some people that was trying to bring up some crazy shit about, well, it's fodder, it's Game Pass fodder, but I paid $20 for the game, and so therefore Game Pass subscribers are just cheapskates. I don't understand it. It don't make any sense. I'm not even going to try to go any deeper into
so
that.
you know what my
Just 'cause-
response to them would be, or
What's
to
that?
that would be, K-Mega.
What's
Just
that?
you're not using your mute button well enough on Twitter.
No, I'm
That's
not.
all
No,
that
I'm
is.
not. No, I'm not.
That's
I'm
all
not.
that is. That stuff is silly. It was kind of interesting, because I don't know if it was a dev or somebody was a former dev on that team.
Mhm.
Somebody was talking about it. It's like, they were talking about where they made the money, and they're like, yeah, we made more money with the bag of cash they gave us for being on Game Pass than we will for selling the game. So people don't need to worry about that. I think, if you get out there, you
Yeah, I
play the
saw that
game,
too.
you talk about the game, you're providing them something invaluable, which is mind share. That helps them stay in the business. Not because since they won that, the Game Pass lottery, and they got that money to go in there, they're good for this one. The key is, like, are they going to get the mind share? Are they going to get people knowing who they are, so that if they want to make another, they have a shot at making another game, because people are playing it, they're talking about it. So I definitely download it. I feel like, I do this thing like once a month on Game Pass, where I just download 3-4 indies, and just,
Mhm.
some of them I only fire through for like an hour or two, and some of them stick and they end up becoming some of my favorite games. So you just never know. This one definitely is pretty. I think it's exciting to came out. You remember growing up, like when we were playing Nintendo games and Sega
Yes.
Genesis, thinking about those games, what they would look like if they would look real.
Yes.
Like, this is like that, right? So
Yes.
that's really cool. It's like that we're at that
Oh, I
point.
thought about virtual racing looking real back in the day when I played that with the 32X, man. I was like, man, if that could get closer to real instead of blocky, this would be off the hook.
Yeah, we're almost there. I think the thing that's missing though, because there was a couple other games that came out that were, I won't mention them right now. There were or at least one other one I'm thinking of right now that was really pretty, like visually as a 2D game from a really small team, super impressive. But I wish they would have spent more time or hired somebody to do the combat, because like that's where you can go from something that's interesting to special. You know, if you can get into these types of visuals, artistically, this looks really impressive.
Hey,
But you
that's
know,
how,
you can. What
that's
would you
how I
say?
felt. You reminded me. That's how I felt when I played the original Nintendo of Rygar, and
Yeah,
then they remade it for the PS2. And I was like, oh, this looks so real. That's how I felt from the way things are now to
yeah,
the way things were back then. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And it's a good feeling.
yeah. No, it's for us old school gamers. Like, I'm all about these 2D games that are just next level pretty, because that's different, right? We're used to pretty 3D games, but these 2D games can be really addictive because they're simple
Like
to pick
Mortal
up and
Kombat,
play.
the new Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
yeah.
Yeah. No more of the people putting on things and they drawing it to look like a person. They really look like a person now.
Yeah,
You know,
you
just
actually
like
feel like
Tekken,
you're ripping somebody's spine out.
just like Tekken. Tekken does not look nothing like it did 20 something years ago. I gave you a little praise on your Tekken Lord, Kenny.
But yeah, no,
Go ahead.
I totally agree. That matter of fact, when I was on Spooky's podcast this past weekend, I was just talking about that. Like, because my one of the okay, Ninja Gaiden was one of my favorite arcade games of all time at
Of
that
Ninja
moment.
Gaiden.
And then what I was disappointed with the Nintendo version because I wanted it to look like that. And so, like what you're talking about, One Bad Mother, is the situation. It's like, man, where can we get games that look just like the arcade? And now we're even surpassed the arcade. And so, yeah, no, and with these indie titles out there that looks great, they just need to home in on other little factors. And I mean, we are probably in another. And this is before we get to the next topic. I do want to ask you guys this: what you think, because that was a great point that you made. Do you feel like this generation is the new revolution into gaming, like it was when we first started getting into the 3D era? And that
Mm, I have an opinion on that because when you just brought what you just said, I thought of the game changer that changed the way an arcade game looked. Then it went to console and it just blew everything out of the water. The original Soul Calibur. And then it went to Dreamcast and it looked better than the arcade. That's when I knew we were going to a whole new level of gaming.
okay,
I know you played it too.
but what about now though? That's what I'm
But
asking. Like,
now,
is this the
like,
new era, the new the new evolution? I said revolution, the evolution of gaming to that point, because remember, everybody was expecting last gen to be that, and it wasn't. But
kind of was, but they took so long to use the power of what they had till it was time for the newer generations. You know what I'm saying? They waited too long by using
So
the power of the old stuff. But when they pumped out this new stuff that they got now, you are right, K Mega. It did change the game. But now they have to get to the point where they can really, really manipulate all the power in these games for us to. I mean, we got 4K, we got 60 frames a second, but now they need to bring it all together for the ultimate look that we've all been waiting to see. 100% realism. It's coming. You see some of the games that are getting ready to come out. It's coming soon.
yeah, I feel like the answer is probably like somewhat nuanced in there, because yeah, we've seen some of the demos, we've seen like what they're getting, or it was it was a $100 million game. It was there wasn't this like middle class, and so I think that's kind of what is exciting, especially on subscriptions. Where they're going to, find I think a new lease on life if they can get some of these deals and more people get to expose because it's not any risk to try those. We saw
It
we saw
is.
recently with what is it? IDOS Montreal. They made a really good game, but it didn't sell. People were afraid to spend $60 on that game because Marvel's Avengers was a failure, and so something like that probably can exist. So I think that combination, subscriptions and game engines, is going to, the tools is going to make this generation really exciting.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Callie, Ham Solo, Minchie, any one of you guys have anything you want to say about this? Do you think that this generation will be the new evolution into gaming from what we've seen from that jump from I guess from the 8-bit to the 3D era?
Honestly,
I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, but I don't know. I'm interested to see how it will come, how it will come to fruition. Like, how will Street Fighter look? Because they gave a really small teaser on that, and it looked different,
Yeah,
really different.
right. It is.
And I'm wondering if that's like the route of all the characters, and that's how they're gonna look. Man, old boy was looking like Incredible Hulk in that just small little snippet, and I was just like, damn. I understand they're big, but it was just wild.
Yeah, no, it did look crazy. It did look. Callie, what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say I honestly don't know if I would say evolution is more of kind of minimal upgrades to what's gonna change how devs make their games. Because evolution is a big step up from one thing to another. From how you grew up, because I always grew up with 3D games because I'm young, so
Right.
3D was all I've known. But from 2D to 3D, that's an evolution. So I wouldn't really call what we're in right now, going into into the future. I wouldn't really call that an evolution, just more of an upgrade.
I don't know, man.
I kind of feel you on that, Callie.
You feel that way?
Well, I do, because it's just I'm not massive into fighting games. I enjoy them from here and there, especially when I'm playing with other people. But I don't know if the allure is gonna come back when a Tekken dropped and you were just whoa, and Virtua Fighter when it was 3D, whoa, those were whoa moments, and just all out gameplay, the look of the game and everything. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to topple that moment in history. I mean, the only way I feel like it's going to topple it is or not topple, but the only way I feel like it's going to be somewhat big is if it's kind of what Sir X-Men was talking about with graphics and stuff like that. I just don't see them
not just the
mechanically.
The gameplay, how games play now compared to how they played back then, that was some of the biggest evolution we ever had. So
These are different controllers too.
I know
these
that,
controllers are seriously different compared to
the way
then.
they wanted the gameplay had to make that evolve. So I'm looking for the next step in controller advancements. That's the main thing I'm looking for. That makes gameplay feel totally different. That's the next step.
We're already there.
Or what about physics and AI? I think the cloud, the hybrid cloud stuff
I love my cloud gaming.
Right.
I right now it's that's a different thing. I think what you're going to get is stuff that's built on cloud that's not even possible locally, or at least part of it. You'll get some of the game that's going to be local that you control, and then you'll have dynamic AI or maybe physics that are computed from a cloud on something that's more powerful than the Series X.
Kind of that movie Gamer, remember how that was?
Never saw that. I was too busy
You
playing
never
Halo.
saw the movie Gamer?
No.
So
I saw that.
Yeah, it was pure environmental. There was no console there. It was
Oh,
just
okay.
you
it was VR.
moderately, but it wasn't like VR. You were really, really immersed
You were
in the
it
environment
was
because
VR.
you had a big
It
screen
was
in front
just
of you.
bro. It was just like Ready Player One. I mean, but it was but that movie was. I think that Ready Player One got its vibe from Gamer because that's the same because it was virtual reality, but people were like completely into
Whole
that.
world was
Yeah,
into it.
and yeah, it was a world instead of just popping in and out. People could just stay in that game in that movie Gamer. People they could stay there as long as they wanted to.
The only time they stopped is to eat.
So, yeah, but anyway, but no, I don't know. I feel that there is evolution. I think this is because graphics can only go as high as lifelike, and I think that we're really close to that. So that
I think VR is going to push that boundary even further. To be honest.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Like, okay, see, so that would mean that this would probably most likely be the generation to do it, don't you think? Because I don't think
No,
I don't think
we got
I don't think
years
this
to go for
generation.
that.
We're not there yet.
No, I think
the goal is to try to aim for something like Ready Player One, living in that kind of virtual world.
Oh okay. Now that's different, but I mean, I don't know if we'll ever achieve that in our lifetimes. Maybe y'all's, not me, Mitchie, One Bad Mother's lifetime.
I'll be gone for sure by then.
Yeah, I'll be out.
I know. I'll be gone. I'll be buried.
And Callie, you might,
especially if I don't slow down on these Chipotle bowls. You know?
You know what I'm saying?
I'll probably be around your guys' age
we
then.
out of there. Yeah, no.
Oh no, Cali Rex might need all accessibility by the time that thing comes.
Yeah, because I don't
bigger toilet.
Yeah. His problems is something else. He ain't worried about no gaming at that point. He gonna be an old bastard. We gonna be out of there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that was a good little topic though, man. I kind of like that one.
Well, if you shut up and let me get to the next one, we can move on.
Good job, there, Mega.
Thank you. All right, so okay, thank you. Okay, so here we go. Square Enix, since that was a good segue. Square Enix sold off the Western Division to Embers Group for $300 million. Now, this is kind of like a two-part question if you wanted to make it into a two-part question, but I'm gonna go straight to Callie on this one first. What do you think about this move, and do you think that there was some kind of intention behind the move from Square Enix's perspective?
Okay, first of all, I do think this is a good move because the games stay multi-plat, so
that is true.
That's a positive for gamers, and also, I honestly feel that Embracer has a really deep care for games. Like, they want their games to do good. They'll put as much effort as needed to make these games good. They give their developers the freedom that they need without telling them to put in microtransactions or anything. And also, they're reviving old IPs. They're reviving Time Splitters. They're bringing back what's it called? They're making a sequel to Saints Row. They're making tons of remasters, like SpongeBob and etc. So I do think that they actually do care about Deus Ex, Tomb Raider, of course, and possibly even Sleeping Dogs. So I think.
Oh, you think they'll bring back? Oh, that's right. Because what Sleeping Dogs Square Enix?
It's Square Enix.
Yeah, that's right.
So I do think that Embracer will try to revive these IPs and try to get get them to live up to what is expected. Because Embracer doesn't really have any huge expectations because they mostly depend on their smaller games to sell well in order to fund their bigger games. So that's why I think it's a good move from Embracer. And also, the second point or the second question you had, I honestly think that Square Enix sold them off because they were just they were just tired of having these studios that they didn't know what to do with. So I think once Embracer came up to them and they offered to take the debt on that these studios had, I think that just sold Square Enix to finally get rid of them. I don't think anybody else wanted to take on that debt or try to rework these studios into being a success again.
All right. What about you, Ham Solo? What is your thoughts about the Square Enix getting rid of the mighty Tomb Raider franchise and others?
Yo, I felt like Square Enix was like, "Yo, bro, pass me that Dawn soap and turn on the water."
Damn.
like straight up. Like, I feel like, because Square Enix has been hard on a lot of these
They have
devs and stuff like that they pretty much got rid of, and I feel like they're kind of washing their hands with a lot of Western IP. Because they just don't want to deal with it anymore. They don't like what they've came out with. They're very vocal about it. They're not. I'm surprised that they held on to Outriders.
Well, they got DLC for Outriders, so probably that's the only reason why they held on to them.
I was surprised about that because that whole Game Pass and that whole Game Pass situation and royalties and yada yada. But I was a little surprised about that. But as for like Embracer Group, I very much liked what Cali Rex said. Like at least they're going somewhere where they can have a second chance or another shot or continue to put out some quality stuff without I mean, you never know, because you think when you get bought out, everything's going to be better. But I've worked in businesses where I'm like, all right, we got bought out by somebody and everybody gets a bonus and, everything's great. And then 6 months down the road, things aren't so pretty, or a year down the road, things aren't so pretty and stuff like that. So in hindsight, I'd say this is awesome, but, only time will tell.
Okay. All right. Do you feel that well, I mean that's what you feel. I'll sit there and I ask everybody else get their thoughts about this. Okay, so what about you, Mitchie? What is your initial thoughts about this move? I mean, your agreeance with Callie and Ham, or do you have a different approach to this?
I think it's good that they sold them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they stand a better chance of success because we're not going to get it with Square. The Square is about Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is all they're about. And this gives them better options when they join PlayStation, I guess. So it's good that Tomb Raider will be a multi-plat. I'm glad for that. And yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Okay, that was real quick to the point. I got you. All right. What about you, Sir X-Man? I'm going to go to One Bad Mother last on this because I think he's going to have a much more detailed answer. What about you?
That's a nice way to say long-winded. But I'll take it.
Yeah.
I just get to play Tomb Raider again. I don't care. I'm done today with that one. Bye.
Oh, okay. All right. So
is that what you wanted?
No, what
10 seconds.
No, I didn't ask you to go 10 seconds. What 10 seconds?
Go on, Callie. Do your thing.
Callie already went.
I already went.
Oh, see? Okay, so no. I just wanted you to stop interrupting people. Just let you can say whatever you want to. You can take your time.
Hey, Meg, I love you, but I know you're the host, but you do more interrupting than anybody.
Well, I'm the host. I got to do it.
Oh my God! Bye.
That is true. He does have the power right now.
I have the power. Anyway, so no.
That's what takes the power from him.
So you don't have anything you guys say, because I know that you did say some stuff yesterday, but on next podcast. But did you have anything that you wanted to add to what you said yesterday?
No, I'm just glad that it didn't get to Sony, where it would have been just on their console and not on mine. That's all.
Okay. All right. All right. The Sleepy make a good point. Now, I don't know. You would think that they would, while y'all just watch this beautiful gameplay of Anthem. Shout out to Kiss to the Sky. Throw the deuces and love and respect to the mighty Anthem. Wish they bring this game back. But Sleepy Goblin says, I'm concerned about whether Embracer will support them at a triple A level versus a double A one.
I can actually answer that.
Okay, go ahead. What are you going to say,
So
Kelly?
basically, Embracer doesn't really publish the games themselves. They just kind of give the developers money, but they will allow the developers to work with other publishers to give them more funding for these games. So even if it's not published by one of Embracer's many publishers that they own, like Gearbox, Deep Silver, Coach Media, whatever, they could also work with like EA or whoever else to like give them the funding to make these games too. So they'll have funding from Embracer as well as funding from an extra publisher.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, which means that goes to something that you said, Sir X-Man. It won't be a purchase, but they could still work with Microsoft, which we were I was alluding to, like that game, the Tomb Raiders could still become, go on Game Pass. That's the one positive about that.
The first reboot came, Microsoft helped publish.
I thought it was the second game, but the first game they just,
they marketed.
It was
the first reboot. It was the first reboot because it was in the Microsoft showcase, Tomb Raider, and they published that first reboot.
I thought it was the second game, but okay.
it was the first.
I thought it was. I thought they marketed the first Tomb Raider, but there was the second one was Rise of the Tomb Raider, where they that they spent the money on.
Their last big money hit. Until the media jumped on them for that.
Yeah, really. So okay, so
somewhere around that.
Yeah. So okay, One Bad Mother. What do you think about this situation? I mean, do you like the fact that it's not that they sold it, and why do you think that Square Enix sold it? I mean, I'm waiting for somebody to say it, but I mean, maybe nobody will, and I'll just say it and see what you guys think. But what do you think?
I mean, in terms of why Square Enix sold it, obviously was we kind of saw them leading up to this with some of the comments they've been making over the last couple of years. Avengers didn't make. I think Avengers actually lost money, if I remember correctly.
Just said 200 million.
Yeah, 200 million, and then Guardians of the Galaxy didn't do that well either. I think if it profited, it was barely. Like basically, neither one of those studios is making the money, and there's a lot of headcount there. And the thing is, like this, it's like almost another topic, so I won't go too far down this road. But if you look at like a lot of the AAA publishers, the big publishers, like they're all looking for those mega home run swings. They're not looking for a little profit here, a little profit there, because when you combine that with the risks, like the downside for some of those, it's usually not worth it. They can, and so they already cut ties with IO Interactive a few years back, and that's kind of what they were doing here. Like I look at the prices that Embracer paid for that, and it's like basically they were paying for the IP and they got the people that go with it for thrown in for free, basically. It doesn't look like Square Enix just wanted to even keep the cost of that. And right now they make the bulk of their money off of Final Fantasy. And I think that's what they're going to, a lot of theories about that. I've seen, there's been rumors, but we know how PlayStation rumors, the percentages on those, but there's rumors that that Sony, even though this probably makes, it makes Square Enix a lot more streamlined for a sale like that, especially for somebody like a Sony. Yeah, I mean, somebody like a Sony that doesn't need, Sony doesn't need all those employees from Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, especially for those studios that make games that are similar to what they already make. A Tomb Raider that's already in the same sort of ballpark as Uncharted, except not as big, right? So that doesn't really, for them, taking on all that cost would, or not just them. I mean, let's say Square put themselves up for grabs for anybody. They're going to be looking at that bottom line, and a lot of these bigger companies aren't going to take on those types of studios that have a lot of operational cost but don't make a lot of money. Now for Microsoft, it's a little bit different because they're running the subscription, and these types of things kind of make sense, a lot more sense in their business model. But I think for most other companies that are still relying on the traditional gaming model, where we're going to, make a game and then we're going to either sell it for $60, $70, or we're going to make a shit ton of money on microtransactions, these games like Tomb Raider, or these IPs like Tomb Raider, just don't have very much value anymore. And so like when we see that, like the fact that that sold for 300 million, all those IPs that basically are, a little over break even if they, if they make them, compared to, basically Activision Blizzard going for, 69 billion based on the backs of like 4 IPs. You basically see like how gaming has changed, and what those things are worth now in the scheme of it. But in terms of like Embracer getting it, I'm not down on that, because Embracer seems to have nobody knows what their plan is or what their end game is. But at least in the short term, it looks like they're just going with everything from small to big studios. They got like 80 something studios, and they seem to they seem to have a similar approach to Microsoft in terms of just giving like just keeping them sustained with the support and not interfering. And for me, like that, as somebody that thinks that Crystal Dynamics is a talented studio, that thinks Tomb Raider is still a good IP, that I think that's a good thing, right? You're not going to have Square trying to figure out how are we going to try to marvel this, throw a bunch of loot or microtransactions or something stupid like that to make it profitable. So I think it's good for gamers. I think except for I think there's a lot of concern with Xbox gamers, because we want to know whether Perfect Dark is going to suffer any consequences as a
No,
result
they
of this.
said they're still
No,
working
didn't
with
they say that
Microsoft.
they
Yeah,
were
they're
gonna
still working.
be?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they said that
Yeah,
they
they
were
made
still
did.
working.
statements.
Yeah,
It came.
and I think, to be fair, I think what a lot of the concern is like, okay, well, what if Perfect Dark does hit? Who's going to continue to build it and stuff? And I don't know that should be something to be as concerned about, because I think really what Crystal Dynamics was meant to do is, after the initiative kind of pivoted away from their initial vision, I feel like Crystal Dynamics is like a stopgap. It's like, here's a bunch of horsepower, we're going to get this game out. It gives them time to kind of figure out
And
what
Crystal
they're going to
Dynamics
do.
a good storyteller too.
Yeah, they are. They have talent, and the thing is, like, Microsoft is still ingesting a lot of creatives and a lot of developers, and so I think the main thing is, as long as Crystal Dynamics continues this, which they will, I think they're obviously they're going to fulfill their contract. Then I think it could be a win-win all around. As much as it would have been nice to see Microsoft throw their money behind studios like this, to get some narrative-driven studios in there that they can put on Game Pass. I think the next best case probably is something like Embracer, who is leaving these studios alone and letting them, make single-player games if that's what they make. So I think that's a good thing. It will be interesting now to see if Sony does buy Square. If they do, then this makes a lot more sense. Because
I
then
have
it's
a
like, well, why
thought
would you sell to Microsoft at that point,
You have
right?
on something you said. What if, real quick, what if you forget about this one more giant in the room, and they used to have a good relationship, and they might still have them? What if
Mm.
Nintendo snuck in with enough money? They got cash like nobody's business,
That's not a bad thought.
and
The
get
only
Square
problem with that
Enix
is
away
Nintendo
from
is
Sony.
Yeah, but Nintendo doesn't really do that.
yeah.
Nintendo
No.
used to.
Nintendo has this.
They
Nintendo has this
could
Nintendo
thing
do
where they
loves
that.
kind of
Final
want.
They
Fantasy.
could, but they don't.
Nintendo has this thing where they
Not
kind of
really.
want to like have developers who fit like their DNA in terms of making games fun, kind of like their Mario's, their Samuses, their Pokemon, whatever. Because
Yeah,
if you
but
see, all their games are like aimed at like their audience specifically, and they kind of have like a formula going for it.
what if
Square
they get
Enix doesn't
back
really
to their
fit that.
old hat though and say, look, we got a chance to get Square Enix all to ourselves and make the kind of games we want. We'll still let them other ones come out on the other consoles,
Well,
but they could do that.
now I
They could do
have
that.
to disagree with Callie on this one. I mean, the Final Fantasy started on Nintendo,
If it
so
did,
Yeah, but
so
that was only because their system was
no, I mean,
big still.
well, it's still big because they still get a lot of
But
Square Enix
remember,
games. I mean, that
remember, Square Enix ditched them after the whole cartridge fiasco. That
you ditch them because you still got Square Enix games.
Would probably make that exclusive, and they should if they did that. But no, I think the thing about Square right now, like, they're not a well-run company. I would be happy with anybody grabbing them that knows that seems to have their shit together, because Square really doesn't. The only thing they know how to do right now is make money off of Final Fantasy and
Dragon Quest too.
yeah, and Dragon
Oh,
Quest. Like
yeah.
those two games basically are everything. But even Final Fantasy, the MMO is really where the bulk of their cash is coming right now. And I despite all that though, it's insurance for these companies, to have a gas game, have an MMO that's only getting, that's not only sustained over time, but that just seems to be gaining in popularity.
And that's why Sony would buy them.
Yeah, and that's and that would make sense for Sony because of that.
Yes.
Because of this Final Fantasy MMO, and I think for Sony it would be a very smart move, because it's like